Hi. That song timing was great. Did I spell it wrong? Oh my god, Radio Truck. The Twitch app is, it doesn't let me autocorrect, so I just type and sometimes assume that it's doing it correctly. Painting. It's time for that. I have a lot of stuff I don't need on my table here. So what tint are we using? Paint those integers. Oh, what was the brand of fridge that died? The fridge that died is, I want to say an LG, and we got a GE. Maybe it's the other way around. I need to clean this up. You are my isolation coat cup. You are the ruler that has not lived in here, and it should have been. Josh said, wait, the fridge that peed on us died? Yes. Well, it's not dead yet. Josh, the ice maker froze up, and we have a home warranty. So they came out, and they were like, ah, you need a new part. Jess is not dead, but we're burying it anyway. So the ice maker froze up and we couldn't get ice out of it. And what happened was all of the ice in the bucket where it makes its ice, like sort of melted and then frozen to a blob. That meant you couldn't get any out of the chute and you couldn't get the bucket out to remove the ice block. So they came out, replaced a part. They're like, ah, we know exactly what you need. This is a normal problem with this fridge. And we said, cool. And they're like, we're gonna order it. It'll be here in like 4 weeks. And so it came and they fixed it. And then they came back out because it did it again. And I told them the compressor was very loud. Because it was loud when we first moved in, but it's gotten worse. And they were like, yeah, the compressor's going. We're just gonna tell the warranty that the fridge is bad because replacing the compressor isn't like enough. And also the ice maker keeps freezing and the part that we thought would fix it didn't. So we're gonna tell them you need a new one. So we got a new fridge and it arrived Wednesday and it's been sitting in our living room, kitchen, dining room area. And I had to call someone else to install it. And they finally got back to me yesterday morning and they were like, could you do like 6 to 8 p.m. on a Friday? And I was like, yeah, but like the poor installer's working that late on a Friday? Did I rip the plastic? No, I'm gonna do that today before they get here. I ended up doing some cleaning yesterday instead. So like, you know, I'm thankful that they're coming this evening. But it's in the evening on a Friday. And the old fridge isn't dead yet. It's like, yesterday when I was sitting downstairs, I could hear the compressor really struggling. So, it's not good. We moved most of our stuff into the garage fridge, which is fine this time of year, and I trust it to keep things as cold as it needs to. But I don't trust it in the summer, so I'm thankful it's not like 110 degrees outside. So the installer is supposed to show up today, take out the old fridge, get rid of it for us because we don't need it. They were like, you could put it in your garage. And I was like, ah, but I have one out there that isn't going to die on me randomly in the night and ruin everything inside of it. Hi, Sketchy Pencil. Welcome. We're going to be painting tree bark. I'm normally a landscape painter, and this is kind of a landscape, but it's not like a pastoral scene. We're just getting started. I have to scrape off my palette and get all fresh paint. But instead I'm talking about the new refrigerator that's just living in my living room right now. So yeah, when they show up this evening, they're taking the old fridge and getting rid of it because I don't need to deal with that. I don't know what they're gonna do with it. We have a few alerts to read too. I should let this soak. It's not scraping well. Yeah. So I need to get my photograph up. And we're working on moss today because the bark is at least a point where it matches the bark I did before. So we're going to work on the moss down here. And because we are working with green, we can finally put the little sapling plant in here. So it's gonna really start to bring it together. And then once I'm done with that and it matches the moss back here, then we're gonna go through and do some final detail work because I think it needs more texture. And like some of our shadows could get brought in a little bit deeper, I think, using some of our ultramarine blue shadow color. That is the plan for today. We're not gonna finish it today because we didn't do this moss in one stream. We did it in like 2. So the plan is to get it pretty far. I also want to brighten it up, like maybe some brighter highlights in some of the moss. Definitely the bark, so it matches like the reflection of this here. So we do need to do more highlights because like this part sits in sunlight and this part sits in shadow. So we need to bring some of that texture back into it. But we're not there yet. That's like the final thing to do because I didn't want to push it too far before we had all of this. I should have started this like when I turned on the stream during the countdown. I didn't. Instead, I was looking at pictures. What is the wavy white line? This is going to be that sapling. This is the stem of it. And then we get one leaf that sits up here, which I don't have drawn in, and then another that sits here. And then there's a few more little ones. My braid is cute. See, the problem with my braid Radio Dread is I have all these layers cut into my hair. So in time, all the layers start to like stick out. This is just the easy braid, so I don't get it in paint. So, everyone needs to hear about the pastry I had this morning. The place is known for having cardamom morning buns, but they had a special this morning that was strawberry lime. It was very good. And I wanted to try the cardamom because that's what I was told was worth trying. But my friend who was in line in front of me was talking to the guy behind the counter about the special one, which was strawberry lime. And I was like, now you've convinced me I have to get the strawberry lime. Next time I'll get the cardamom. Cardamom morning bun. It looked really good, and the strawberry lime was excellent, so I can't complain. Just gotta try it more times. Exactly, B. Croaky. I can just go another time. Alright, we have a clear palette now. We can start to paint. I need to figure out what colors we're doing though. Is my blade sharps container in here? No, it's in my office. It's about time to retire this sharp. Alright, here's our palette. This is our lovely palette of our colors for this painting. So we've been working in our bark palette. Now we're moving to our moss palette, which is sap green. And then we get lighter with Hansa Raw Sienna Zinc. And then some Jenkins to do the shadow. So I'm probably gonna start with Jenkins alone and start to block in the moss. It's lovely when I don't have to mix colors. Both. Both is good. I should have tried both, because now I'm hungry. And one morning pastry was not enough. I am hungry. I have leftover spaghetti, though. One of the things we did was we thawed some ground beef out of our freezer, just in case the freezer decided to die. And we made spaghetti last night, and I made taco meat for dinner tonight. All right, we have a 38-month resub from Gold Mage, 15 months from Swift for Sweeper, 33 from Moonlit Boulevard, 37 from Darkness Bride, 38 from Bardic Puppy, 38 from Sakura Celica, and 37 from Brina BX. Thanks for all the resubs this morning. Lovely Friday morning. I can't believe it's already Friday. It's wild. All right, there's a lot of moss here, and I was going to go draw it in parts, and now I'm like, why? Like, there's a little bit in here, and then there's like some here. And right here is important because it's going to show the difference between this piece and this piece. So there's that. And then we kind of get this. And then there's a lot that sits up here. There. And there. I'm gonna miss some of this because it's just all over the dang place. Like, there's even some that sits here. Good enough. Let's start bringing the moss in. So the other thing we've been doing is we've been picking out colors for the house to paint on the walls. And I had a lovely moment of putting paint on the wall and being like, wait, there's no landlord that can stop me. I don't have to worry about that. And that was very fun for me. I'm trying to come up with like a rainbow of colors that all go together and then try and keep that vibe for the whole house. And we're not painting everything. And I know I've talked about it, like it doesn't make sense to paint my studio because the color will bounce. So let's say I paint this something really bright and difficult on the eyes, like a bright orange. That would bounce onto my light and onto my face and onto the painting and really mess with my colors. So this is going to stay the awful gray color. But I mean, I have the backdrop up, like that whole wall and this whole wall has it up, so I don't really see the gray, to be honest. And when I'm in here, I'm normally looking at this. More food storage. I want a chest freezer, but I don't really have a great place to put it. And that's fine. There's a lot of moss right here. I've been dreading doing the moss on the painting because when I first did this up here, it was so puffy, if we remember, and I didn't like it. So I've been kind of dreading it, but also I learned my lesson that time. Can you guys even see the green that I'm painting? Or is it just too dark and we have a glare? Do not make puffy. Follow the lines of the bark. Got more shadow? See the dark here? This is what I'm painting. See the brush hitting the canvas? Ah. It is a dark green on a dark brown. And if you remember, I did a palette knife for a lot of the shadows of this piece on the bark. So a lot of this is a bit more random than the photo is. It's not quite accurate, which is fine. It's nature. It should be kind of random. What if you zoom? Can we see it in here? A little bit better, maybe? I guess we'll work that way today for a bit. That's where that is. tap. Lots of taps with this. It's just constantly back and forth. Trying to build up all the colors. Bigger brush than when I did tiny taps on goose painting. I was talking about goose painting the other day to someone who doesn't play video games at all, but they have played Untitled Goose Game. Because I showed them my painting and they were like, that reminds me of something. And then they started talking about Untitled Goose Game and I'm like, that's what that's supposed to be. I was very happy that they knew it. We're back into trust the process territory where we have to remember that things will not look this way when we're done. Are we still on screen? Where am I working? Here? A little bit. Can I raise this easily without bringing up the entire shelf? Nope. We will have to go back to zoom out. Oh yeah, we need to bring a lot more shadows into this. But that is a problem for Mal in like 3 weeks. Or maybe today. Maybe I'll put a few layers of moss down and be like, no, we need to do more shadows on this bark. We love giving problems to future Mal. It's partially why future Mal was avoiding doing this moss and not looking forward to it. Where am I on this? Here. We have a 37-month resub from Lunagazer. Good morning. Welcome in. This is moss painting day. There's so much moss to paint. We have a 38-month resub from Vagabond. Good morning. Hi, Haley. Is my title still messed up? No one fixed it for me? Or was it the go live? What one had the mistake in it? We can't? Oh, it was the go live then. Oh, it is the title. You guys can't change that? Can Chaz change it? I thought you guys could change that. I could, but I thought we liked it. Okay. Then let's leave it. should put some moss over here. Oh, it's such a process. Now we're gonna move on to this piece. This piece has less. Nope. Let's not get my hand in the paint. No paint into yourself. When my hair was super long, I had it in a ponytail painting a lot, and I started to accidentally ruin some of my shirts because I would get the tip of my hair in the paint and then I would fling it back onto my back, and I ruined at least 2 shirts with that. Quote, super long. I actually wonder how effective a person hair paintbrush would be. It depends on the hair texture, I think. If you have, like, let me find one. Here's one. These are boar bristles, so they're very stiff, and like that's what you want with oil and acrylic. But if you're doing something more like watercolor, you want a softer brush, which is why you use like sable and squirrel and other things like that. So like my hair would maybe work for a watercolor brush, but it would not do as well with acrylic. Because acrylic is pretty harsh on a brush. So you need something that can stand up to it and like really push the paint into the canvas. One is a brush making stream. I can only have so many hobbies, Vagabond. Finger painting is painting with a brush made of human skin. Squeaky chair. too many hobbies and I'm acquiring more every few months. Listen, I was told I need to go play bike polo and I'm not picking it up. And then someone today was like, you could join the bike racing team. I think you'd do really good at it. Do you do any racing? And I was like, I don't. And they were like, you know, in a few weeks when you decide to do bike racing, talk to me. He's like, you could join our team. We have matching jerseys. And I was like, ah. I do like matching jerseys. I've been trying to get my bike friends to get matching jerseys. And I think if I designed them and like had it already and I was like, all right, here, go order it, they would, but I'd have to be the one to step up and do it. I don't think they will. I am liking the moss over here better than over there. I mean, this looks really good because it's done, but the way I'm applying this on this layer compared to when I did that layer, I was not happy at this stage up there. You're the artist, make a mock-up and say you're placing the order in a few weeks. See, that's what they all want me to do, is just to take care of it and be like, here, order. Maybe that's a problem for later in the month, but not right now. There's too much going on right now. I have a house to paint. I have a refrigerator living in my kitchen room, dining room, living room space. What did I text someone about it? Where was it? That was a text message. I was very amused by my comment. I sent them a photo of it, and I kind of continued Steven's joke from Instagram about the obelisk from Space Odyssey. And I said, I have a new obelisk in my house. I'm thinking about leaving it there as a permanent installation. Ah, yes, our living room fridge. No, it's only for looks and to be wildly in the way. Any mock-ups of what I plan to paint each room? I have a handful of colors picked out, but I don't have any mock-ups. And then I went on to I don't think it's called Cooler anymore. It's like the color scheme generator, and you can be like, all right, this color, this color, this color, lock it, and then give me 2 more colors that match. It used to be Cooler, like Adobe's Kuler, like color ruler combined as like a portmanteau. So I did that with some of the colors I have picked out, and I want to do like a steel blue gray in the living room, a sage green in the kitchen, and then like a teal that's in between those two, so like a grayish teal color for the foyer. So I'm not sure exactly yet. And I'm trying to keep in mind things like the floor coloring, because I'm not changing the floors, I'm not changing the carpet, I'm not painting trim. I'm not changing cabinets. There's just too much to do with that. So we're going to try and keep it harmonious with what we have already to work with. Jess, is exciting to see painting happening, especially when it's not me that has to do it. Didn't you guys paint at your last place and you were not happy about it? Like, to do it, it was not fun. It was not fun. We had to do the kitchen to save money on the remodel. Ah. See, when I painted those swatches that I painted already, Chaz was over the other night and saw them. It was so much fun. Like, I just got to open a thing of paint and just go on a wall and paint. And you think, like, that wouldn't be exciting? Because I do it all the time, but I just don't get to do it on a wall. Once the dark green is spread, it's given it a lot more texture. It's helped. I have concerns about there being no moss over here. There's a little bit in here. It's kind of like a virus, honestly. Spreading across all these tree limbs. Roots. That's better. I think my mom was trying to tell me that, like, the kitchen's the hardest thing to paint. And I was like, no. There's all these cabinets. You don't have to paint them. They're done. Alright. This up here needs a second coat, for one. And then this piece here is, like, all moss. You know what's been weird about picking colors, though? Is you think I'd trust myself more with it, but I don't. In my head, I know whatever I pick will be fine. I will make it work. It will be fine. I won't hate it. But in practice, when I'm trying to decide between two very similar colors, I'm like, oh no, what if I pick the wrong one? Whereas, let's say I just had, like, a ton of colors and primary colors, and I was making my wall paint essentially from scratch like I do to do this, I'd just be like, there, steel blue, let's paint it, and I would be happy with it. I'm no longer happy with this paintbrush, however. We need something a bit larger and a bit drier, because that one is all gunked up. Because I'm losing my stippling texture from the moss that I was getting nice over there. I don't like this one much either. Isn't that where asking Steven for his opinion comes in? He has to live with it? Steven said I could do whatever I wanted. And I'm like thinking about color drenching our bedroom, which is like when you paint literally all of it. Like the ceiling too, but you normally do that at like 50% strength. And I'm like, what if I don't particularly like gold. I like silver better than gold for jewelry. was like, what if I use silver leaf and do like a galaxy on the ceiling? And we get a really, really cool light fixture. And he's like, that might be a bit much. And I was like, no. But the problem is if I do that, then the bedroom's going to be very dark. And it is one of the few rooms in the house that gets decent light. So I kind of want to keep it bright and airy because it's pretty bright and airy already. I don't want it to be a cave. Just distract him and send him to Costco. Light color drenching is a thing too. And like, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. I have a few blues picked out for the bedroom and I'm thinking like gauzy curtains. I need to replace the dressers and the nightstands. I've already replaced the headboard because I found this really gorgeous 90s brass headboard. And it's like asymmetrical. It's not like super ornate. I really love it. So I need to figure out furniture that goes with that. Ketis is something more coastal. I don't want to go too beachy because we lived at the beach and that's very overdone in my head and in my life. So I don't want to go too beach colors. And that was kind of my concern with what I've picked out already for like, the living room and the foyer, because the foyer color is straight up like a beach name of some sort. And I was like, ugh. It's a desaturated one. But it's still, I don't want it to be 90s Myrtle Beach colors. Mountains it is. This is dry. I can put my hand up here. I do wish I had a different brush. I don't love this one. It's better than the one I had. And whatever I do is if I'm putting the houseplants I have in the bedroom, I need to put them where they are cat proofed. So I was thinking about hanging a bunch of them, because like I said, it is the room that gets the best light, so that's where most of my houseplants are. And I do want to have houseplants in the rest of the house, so I think cast iron plants are good low light, non-toxic. Was I reading that? So that's also a concern. And I feel like I would have trusted Sagan and Kepler around things. But if we're getting kittens at some point, like, I don't know what they're going to do. So maybe I'll keep all of my houseplants that are toxic in my office and get some growing lights. And then just keep cast iron and other ones in the rest of the house. And like, I don't think cast iron plants are very fun. It's no like Monstera or Maranta or whatever. But it won't hurt kittens. Catnip plants all over the house. This brush is in your way. I should just finish cleaning it and be a responsible painter. And not let it soak. Like so. Give the paintbrush a drink. Oh, I have water. Okay, I'm getting it all over my face. Suddenly was like, wait, I should have some water. All I've had today was coffee. The problem with this water bottle, because I'll take this biking, you can see where my bottle cage holds it, is that I have to squeeze it into my mouth, because if I touch the cap at all, it closes on me. Love drinking water. Top 5 hobby. Is that a new one, Pokemon? Was that one of the ones you mentioned that was new? Yeah, 6 years ago, ah. Okay, here's this. There's a lot of moss that sits along this base. New one is music related. Okay, we're almost done with this first layer. There's a lot of moss right here too. Tall brush is kind of in my way. Okay, good layer. Now, I don't love this. Let's fix that. It's mostly because I can see around the corner and I don't love what it's doing. So we're just going to force that. Then we're gonna flip it this way and do this side. And marvel at how the whole thing looks like it's kind of covered in... I don't know, it doesn't look right, but it's the first layer. I'm gonna leave that alone for a minute and not look at it. I still have way too many things on my desk. And I kind of want to draw in the sprout here and paint that. So we're going to do that. 2 more leaves? Yeah. I want this one to get this tall. And this is that rock, so it should probably come out to here. This should be closer to that. Shoot. This leaf. Actually, all of those straight right there. That whole side. Redraw it. So that one's there, which puts the other one here. And then the main one arcs over here. and sits behind this guy. So if that one is in front, we erase this. And then this one is next. There's our leaf. Do I want to block it in with white or just go straight for green? I think straight for green. Let's mix up a green. I can always add white on top of that. We have a 34-month resub from Sappy. Good morning. Welcome in. So my goal here is kind of a mid-tone green, almost kind of like the lightest color that's in here so far. We are using, where's my Hansa yellow? Hansa yellow, sap green, some raw sienna and some zinc. And this is just going to be our base green here. I'm not trying to shade it yet. I think I added too much yellow. Let me mix it fully so I can see it first. No, this could work. We have a 38-month resub from Dark Overlord. Good morning. Heyo. This is way more exciting than the moss. This will also let me erase all these chalk lines in here, so I don't have to worry about them contaminating my colors because they will sort of just be dusty on there for a long time. This color is actually way more opaque than I thought it would be. I'm kind of surprised. I need to wash this brush off. It has too much paint on it. There, that's a good layer of this. It's a little transparent in spots, and that's fine. Just gonna fill in a second layer where it's the worst. Good, that's a good layer. I like that. Does the zoom? Not really. Let's lift it up. So there's that sprout. And that's the last piece of the painting that just like wasn't there yet. So as we work through the moss, we can start to bring that in, because tapping the moss in around it will cover up some of it, but at least have it figured out where it's going. And then I need to make sure I really save this color, because I'll need to repaint it as I finish doing the moss. Do I have plastic? Oh, I do. And I do want to erase that chalk. I can erase it from the moss though. I didn't really draw it here as much. Just the chalk here. In my heart, I want to do darker colors in the bark to like really bring some of these down. But here's the thing. Last time I did the moss, besides being puffy, it didn't really sit on the bark. So I had to go back in with a shadow color underneath all of the moss to like set it down. And if I do the bark now and not the moss, then I'm gonna have to do that again. So I should just do the moss. So let's try and get another layer in today. I think I can use just sap. Let's see if that's too dark or if we need to mix it a little bit lighter yet. Too dark. All right, Hansa and raw sienna. What I really want to do is just paint that sprout, but that makes no sense. I'm like, I could take some of this yellow and just do a little bit of a highlight on it, couldn't I? Take some of this brown and put it in the shadows. Like just a little bit in here, like that. Ignore moss, only sapling. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. This brown isn't dark enough to do all of it. And this yellow is too saturated. It's not quite right, but that's okay. See, now I'm invested in this. Color is not right at all. It's supposed to be more white right here instead of yellow. And this one's almost like outlined and backlit. It's so like Technicolor. Do you see how bright it is? It is not fitting at all, but it's looking at least not flat. And that's fine. Sometimes we need to do something that makes us happy. It needs a lot more shadows and a lot more highlights and detail. There's like a lot of specks all over the leaves. All right, our sap green is too dark, so we're going to bring in a lighter version of it. Need some zinc. Nothing else in the painting is this saturated, so it's looking out of place, but it feels more lifelike. But we will tone it down. Okay, let's find another bristle brush like this one. Maybe this one. This one. And now we're just going to go in and start to make the moss less flat. And this is definitely going to look like the same color. But it's not. I think it's just the glare I have right now. And in some places on this tree bark, the moss sits in shadow and has a lot of variation in the color. So places like here, where it's catching some of the highlight for where the light's coming through, but here where it's in the deeper recesses of the bark, there's less to it. So this piece as a whole is going to have a lot more variation than like the stuff back here in shadow. And you can see that here, like this piece gets a lot brighter and has some of the dark places in it, but like some of the stuff that sits more in shadow doesn't. And the light is hitting here, and this part's a little bit more in shadow. So in general, that part's going to have less. I'm becoming very hungry. This is a problem. I want to finish this color. Apparently the strawberry lime morning bun pastry was not enough. Rachel says, gets me every time. I was just thinking that. Is this dry enough to put my hand on? Yeah. So the areas that are getting more light, I'm putting more of this color, covering up. Are we still live now? Did that flip everything? Why? Okay. I can't reach the keyboard. Was the internet down? It is. Are we back now? We back. Hi. I couldn't reach the keyboard sitting down. No idea. The overlay's disconnected? I think I can fix that. Let's try and fix that. Is that this? There's the button I want. Let's see if that fixed it. There we go. We're so back. I'm still hungry. I really gotta finish painting this color though. Now I am also hungry. I'm sorry. Where, Renee? Oh, school. Yes. That's what I was thinking, but I'm like, but is Friday? Alright, back to this. This wasn't the brush I was using. Shoot. Where'd the brush go? This one. Met your first Tudos person. Sometimes she even gets yard time. We joked that the school I went to, my high school, looked like a prison. We have a 35-month resub from Mile Hello. Good morning. Oh, I clicked on the wrong window and I can't clear the alert. Oh well, I'll just remember. Our chat can do it. Where was I? I was like here. Do you see what I mean about I was going to paint on these leaves? Like, my line is gone. And that's fine. I knew that was going to happen. And that's why I didn't treat it too seriously. I do, however, need to not paint on the work. Can't paint on the bark. That needs to stay. There's a tiny little smiley face here from the texture. Cute. The reason I have to finish this color is because I'm not going to remember what I was trying to do next time I paint. I'll forget where I was painting, what part was done, and what part wasn't. Starting to run out of this color. This could be a problem. Did I do it? No. Oh, shoot. I have all of this down here and the side yet. Do I have enough? Okay, just barely had enough. Clean off these brushes, and then we'll do a close-up. I want to do one other thing, even though, like, I want to go eat. Where's Jenkins? There's Jenkins. I'm gonna work on the sapling. Just going to give it a little bit. That yellow is so bright right there. Unnecessarily so. A little bit better. We're still gonna have to do a lot to it because of putting the moss on top of it. There's a lot of smaller details I want to do, like down in this stuff. But when I start to do the shadows and then the brightest highlights, that will just kind of come together. All right. I have a lot of extra paint out, so let's get rid of that. And by a lot, it's like a single teaspoon. It's not all that much. Just more than normal. All right, so let's start by doing this, talking about what's coming up, and then I'll do the close-up because I need to clean off this palette knife. today is Friday, so that means tonight on Steven's channel we're playing Hitman. I think we're getting better. We're learning how to play the game. I lost a paintbrush. I felt like last week went much better than like the week before, so things are getting better. Chess says fun level tonight. That's exciting. Hopefully by the time we start, the fridge will be installed. And the old one will be gone. And the new one will be chilling, so I can put food back in it. This one from 34 to 1, so an improvement. Much needed improvement. Let's do a close-up. I'm gonna hit zoom, and then I'm gonna start over here. So you can see the moss start to get built in here. It's starting to like get detail. As I bring in the brighter highlights like up here into this, it'll look better. And yeah, it already looks like it's floating, so I'm gonna have to shade it a little bit. I do want to do more texture in the bark and the moss, so it looks more like this does. And like up here. So that'll start to come together too once we can bring that in. We're gonna have to redo the sapling entirely, which is fine. But it looks nice there for now. And it's giving us some much needed detail down in this area because this part is highly detailed and we needed to start bringing that down here. I think I have the vocal one unchecked, Radio Dread. But I'm really happy with like this down here. This part I really like, but it needs more detail. We're gonna add more shadows in to darken this even further because right now it's very burnt umber. And if I add some blue into that, we'll really deepen that shadow. And I haven't used titanium white yet. I might save that to do a few more of the brightest highlights here, because there's a little bit of transparency with that zinc white going on. And I haven't used any black paint either. We're just using browns. So I can always use a tiny bit of that just to push a few of these spaces back a little bit further if I want to. We're reserving that for an emergency, kind of. There will be a Hades stream on Sunday, so tune in for that. There will be no Yote Monday. If there's a stream at all, it will not be Yote. It may just be Steven. It may not. There may be nothing. It's hard to say exactly what's going to go on. I am sad about no Yote too. Note. I have enjoyed playing it, so I'm sad that it's not happening this week. Otherwise, next week after Monday, like Tuesday and on, should be normal streams. Ghost of brownies. And that's all the stuff. A vlog came out last night? Right? Vlog. Did the vlog come out? It did. The IKEA vlog, where we talk about IKEA. Or we go to IKEA, and then Steven talks about the game room. Saving vlog for later, as a treat. Yeah, he shows off all the shelves and how he has things organized. The house is coming together, which is great. We have a lot to do yet, including painting. Maybe soon, not next week, probably. We'll just like go live in the foyer and paint the foyer. Maybe when this painting is done. Radio Dress says yes, please do. I've watched a lot of videos on wall painting. My plan is to maybe prep the foyer this weekend. We'll see. Did I film the refrigerator unwrapping? We haven't unwrapped it yet. My plan is to go eat something and then do that because I have other stuff to do today too. Like cleaning downstairs. But we will be doing that. I already opened the doors to look at things and there's so much things I can peel off that fridge. All right, everyone, have a good Friday. I hope to see you tonight for Hitman. Thanks for tuning in while we painted Moss. And next week we'll continue to paint Moss, and we'll probably be pretty close to done after next week. There'll probably just be like little detail touch-up stuff. All right, everyone, have a good Friday. See you tonight.